Hello, community. We are live. Welcome to the Community Roundtable here at Women into Networking Win. I'm really excited. Today is going to be one of those conversations. It will go a little deeper than we usually go. But before we even get into the conversation today, which is all about, women empowerment, making sure we talk about community collaborations, and of course, we have our Giving Tuesday campaign coming up with Georgia Give. I really want to emphasize the importance of how we empower each other as women, especially as women entrepreneurs, as we, gain momentum into the holiday season because we're going to be the ones doing a lot of this work around the holidays. So let's start talking about how we can encourage each other, empower each other, and what is happening in our businesses and in our lives that we can improve on and get support in. I'm going to start with introductions. My name is Allegra Jackson. I am the marketing medulla. I'm also the founder of Women into Networking Win. I absolutely love empowering women entrepreneurs in all aspects of my life. And so this gives me pleasure anytime I can show up. So please make sure y'all connect with me. Let me know what communities you're in so I can get connected to your communities. And also I have Miss Karan Fairweather and Miss Ernest Cummings, who are vital parts of our community here at Women into Networking Win. I will start with Miss Karan first. So Karan, I'll pass it over to you for introductions. Please continue, and then we'll start with the conversation.
Thank you, Allegra. Hello, community, everybody, everywhere. Yes, my name is Karan Fairweather. I am your women's empowerment coach, as well, also known as the Affirmation Whisperer. My brand, the Affirmation Whisperer, is founded in affirmations, the power of our words, which we will get into that today as well, because this subject is one that is powerful for us. It's one that we need to dig into and consider most often. With my community, I'm always encouraging everyone to use your words. Use your words to say what it is that you desire or what you don't desire, right? You ask not, you have not because you ask not. But we need to learn how to use our words in a more empowering way so that we do get what it is that we desire. I coach women that, particularly those that are in the second act of their life, such as I am. I coach women how to recover from those traumas that they may have experienced, whether it's been loss of a loved one, an empty nester, a divorce, a change in your career. All kinds of things can tend to knock us off our perch, right? That's where I come in to teach you how to get back up on your feet, get started with life, because as long as you got breath, you have another opportunity. So let's tap in, join me in my community, and make sure you tap in and join our affirmation community where you can get those affirmations weekly, just like the rest of us here. Now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Ernest. Hey, Miss Ernest.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Ernest Cummings. I am the founder and CEO of an amazing nonprofit. It's Secret Miracles, Inc. And we mentor students in college prep, career planning, and entrepreneurship. I am also a corporate sponsor with Women in Networking. Yay. In addition to that, I have my own brand, which is ernestcummings.com. And what I do with that brand is I am a government expert and I help small businesses understand the process on how to get those government contracts. So that's who I am and that's what I do. And it is my pleasure to be here with you all today.
Thank you so much, ladies. And I have the pleasure of having both these ladies in my space a lot. So I'm so blessed, and I never take it for granted. So if you are in any need of what these ladies are talking about, affirmations, right, government contracting, which people are banging my door down about government contracting right now, connect with these ladies. So I want to start the conversation today about this momentum we have to keep going as women, okay? And Miss Ernest, you and I had a great conversation. Miss Ernest is my mentor. So if y'all don't know, get with people who are where you want to be and who can bring you there, right? Who can guide you, give you the advice. And Miss Ernest, it's so funny when people go, oh, I need to go to that place. What is it called? SB. And I'm like, SBA. That's where Miss Ernest is from. So when I went to Miss Ernest about this thing about community, like, it's great to have those ways to network. It's great to have those times when we get together and we say, hey girl, how you doing? What you going on in your business? It's great to have the check-ins. But what about the times where things really happen in our lives, right? Like it's a tragedy or a sickness, an illness, or, your children. Like when those things happen, what I've learned is that we just pull away. Like we don't necessarily always go forward and say, hey, y'all, I need help me. No, because there's a lot of emotion there. And so when I did the study, Miss Ernest and I were talking, and Miss Ernest said, I want you to look at the women who are, like statistically, like do your research, look at the women who are building businesses and what happens if, say, a divorce, say, something just out of nowhere, like breast, right? And what happens to the business? And I looked it up, and almost every single time we stop. Now, I also looked on the other part of it and said, well, maybe that's just how it works. No, because men don't have to do that. And so we have to create a different type of ecosystem for ourselves in this environment of entrepreneurship. So I would love to start the conversation and see what you ladies think about that. Karan, I'll pass it over to you first.
Yes, which is part of my whole mission when it comes to coaching women, because as business owner, being female, being a business owner, and still having that the task that we've taken on to do everything, be the wife, be the mom, be the fixer, be the nurturer, and be a businesswoman, it is a lot. And when something comes along and knocks us off that routine, if you will, that we have of getting up at 4 a.m., preparing this, or having my own time and then getting the kids ready. If a life event comes about, whether it be the death of someone, some type of illness, or something totally unexpected, we tend to like go into hibernation. Like, wait a minute, this is too much. I'm going to stop everything. And it's a self-protection type of thing. Like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to step over here and stop everything and keep me safe while I try and figure the rest out, as opposed to having others to come in and say, hey, girl, what do you need? Or, hey, babe, what you need? What do you need from me? Not telling them what you're going to do for them, because that may not be what I need right now, right? But having that ecosystem as your reference of women, a network, women in networking, coming to you and saying, hey, I haven't seen you for a minute. I haven't heard from you. And it's not, I wouldn't even say that we don't reach out to each other because we are just ignoring each other. We get so busy, right, in our day to day that someone will come across our mind like, yeah, I haven't seen her for a minute. And then the phone rings. So that thought of that person that you were thinking about is gone because the phone rang. And so you were back engaged into your day to day, not thinking, or you're the one that's experiencing something. And we heard a little bit about this on Sunday, Allegra. You're the one that's experiencing something, but you don't want to reach out to anyone because of many reasons. And some of the reasons could be you're afraid of being judged. You're thinking that someone's going to think less of you, when that's so not the case. So on one side of the coin, we're not being reached out to. And then on the other side of the coin, we are not reaching out because we're afraid of judgment or what society will say, looking like a failure, when it's so not the case, especially when you're networking with the right women, right? You're in community with the right women. And so if I reach out to Miss Ernest and say, Miss Ernest, girl, I need to talk to you, and I tell her what's going on, she's going to start rattling off, okay, you need to do this. Let me make some phone calls. I'll call you right back. And so had I stayed in that cocoon and not reached out to Ernest, I wouldn't have had the benefit of the support. Or what if I had not heard from Miss Ernest? Being intentional about what I do, put that phone call down, call her instead, or send her a quick text or an email because I know how to reach her. Right? So being intentional about what we're doing, whether we are on one side of the coin or the other, I believe is essential to our ecosystem of support, because if you want support, you got to give support. That makes sense? I don't see Allegra, so she may be having some tech issues, but Miss Ernest, what you got to say?
Yeah, I can piggyback on that for sure, because it's amazing that we're talking about this right now, because I just talked to Sarah via email, because I was trying to figure out how many meetings do I have that, is outside of my normal 9 to 5 job. And I took a snapshot of my calendar, and oh my God, it's like every day, every slot is full.
Right.
And Sarah said, Miss Ernest, it's all about decluttering. So when we talk about women that have businesses and, we run into situations that you say, maybe a death or maybe some type of medical thing
Mhm.
or anything that can attack us, right?
Right.
I started to think about, after my conversation with Allegra, is the women in networking, are we a circle of trust?
Oh, good. Mm.
So when you are in a circle of trust, think about what I'm saying. When you are in a circle of trust, I think it makes it easier for an individual to reach out. But
Mm-hmm.
if you are in a circle of chaos,
Yes.
then individuals not going to reach out because they don't have that trust.
Mm-hmm.
So in my own personal life, one thing that I am working on daily is to establish a routine that not only includes my own self
Mm-hmm.
care,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but self care of others that I have come into contact with,
Mm-hmm.
throughout my career.
Yeah.
And as Allegra said earlier, I'm her SCORE, SBA SCORE mentor. And
Mm-hmm.
SCORE is an organization that helps small businesses on their journey, and SCORE is free. And I looked at my list of mentees that I have mentored over the last 5 years, and it's over 1,000 and something. And I was talking to another when member, Orinthia, and I asked her in that conversation last Thursday, I think it was, what type of data system can I set up to where I can reach out to these individuals maybe once a quarter and just say, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I found is that we are so busy. We just keep going, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, what about January, whatever? And I'm like, January, God, we already in October. You
Right.
asked me about appointment in January. And so just thinking about what we're doing, how much we're doing. Are we
Yes.
crazy for doing all this stuff at one time? I think I was.
One might say, right?
Yes. I realized I was out my mind. And I had to pull myself and
Mm-hmm.
center myself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I appreciate people like Miss Karan, because with the affirmations that I receive from her, and I could be just sitting here and it pops into my phone, I say, oh my God, that's what I needed to hear. So I think as business women, what we need to do is first look at ourselves. And
Yes.
as Sarah says, see, we need to declutter.
Right.
Because I think when we declutter, it will give us more space and time to look at ourselves and self-center.
Agree.
So when we do have these problems that,
Mm-hmm.
jump up the unforeseen, we still have that peace of mind where we can reach out to a trustworthy
Mm-hmm.
networking partner
Yes. Mm-hmm.
where we can bounce stuff off of and say, hey girl, this is what's going on. I know she's not going to judge me.
Right.
I know she's going to give me the best advice, and I
Mm-hmm.
know she has my back.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to throw that in on what you said, because what you said was very, very powerful. Um, and I just wanted to add that piece to it. So,
Well, two things you said that got my attention right away is trust and decluttering. When we have a community of women that we trust and feel safe around, because safety too, right? Because I'm
mhm,
divulging my heart's information, stuff that I keep under lock and key.
mhm,
I am divulging that to you. So I need to feel safe with you, trust and safety.
mhm.
And then decluttering. So with the trust and safety, what you bring is what you're going to get back.
Yeah,
Right? What
yeah.
you bring to a community, because people are going to read your energy. They're going to
Mhm,
see what you do and what you don't do, right?
mhm,
So they're going to say, I don't know. Or, oh, yeah, she's all about this support thing.
mhm.
So when we come to a community, if you bring in chaos, people are going to identify, like you said, Arnice, they're going to identify that you are bringing mess, bringing chaos.
Yeah,
So they're going to keep you at a distance, right? But when they
definitely.
see that you're going to bring in peace and harmony and working together, coexisting together, no judgment,
Right.
right? No judgment. Just with on Sunday when we were together, we all felt completely safe in each other's presence. Talked
Mhm,
about some very personal issues, but
mhm.
no one had any angst about that. Why? Because they had trust and safety.
Yeah.
Declutter. My goodness, when you said that, I thought I almost jumped out of my seat, because I'm thinking when you got stuff, let's just say everyday life, and you got
Yes.
declutter going, you got clutter around you, it's
Yes.
hard to stay focused because you over here, you're over there. But when you declutter, you got more space to breathe.
Yes.
So, and you know what you're doing on a daily basis. You know, on this day, I'm not doing anything. And that decluttering also supports you when something unexpected comes up.
Exactly.
When something unexpected comes up, I don't
Mhm.
have a million and one things going on that I got to shut down because I don't know what's going on because I got too
Mhm.
much going on. But when I organize my life on the everyday, on the day to day, when those unexpected come up, I've already built in days where I don't do anything. So on that day, that's the day I'm not doing anything because I got something I need to woosah from, right?
Mhm.
So when
Mhm.
we declutter our lives and be more organized, and this comes to the business side of us, we're in Q4. One of my things is for 25, I'm putting my calendar together now.
Yeah.
And you know what's going on my calendar first? My days off, my
Yeah.
vacation. That's what's going
Yeah.
on my calendar first.
Yes.
Everything else is going to fit there, right? So
Mhm.
as we organize ourselves, when these unexpected events come about in our lives or the lives of those we love, the women that we support, I got a sister that needs somebody to come and sit with her for a little while because my calendar is set up so. And I done declutter, I can take the time and go and
Mhm.
sit with her for a little while or go get groceries for her or whatever she needs. But so support starts with yourself first. Are you supporting yourself? Are you giving yourself room to breathe? Are you waking up in the morning and just focusing on you instead of hitting the road running and you've done nothing? You haven't prayed, if that's your thing you do. You haven't meditated. You haven't breathed. You haven't drank some water. You haven't drank some warm tea to get your system. You haven't done nothing but run. What is that? So we have to get to a point of learning that we need to take care of ourselves so we therefore then can take care of others. Allegra's back. Yay. Are you there, Allegra? We can't hear you yet. Okay, we'll keep the conversation going until you get your tech right. So, Miss Ernest, what you say about that whole declutter thing?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I walked in my space, my office space this morning, and I decided that instead of looking at the double doors when I walk in this weekend, my desk will face the windows. So I can see the
Ooh,
birds, I can see the trees, I can see the blue sky. You know, when I'm working, when I look up, I could see the presence, that God has blessed me to
ooh,
be able to see
yeah,
outside of my
yeah,
windows.
yes.
Because I was like, every time you walk in, I mean, everybody always say, "Oh, you got such a beautiful wall." You know what I'm saying? But in front of me is two double doors and they're white and normally they're closed. But I
Mm.
realized as I'm going through this transition, I don't looked at them double doors long enough. I want to see people walking their dog outside. I want to see the cars passing. I want to see the
Yes,
birds flying. I want to see the bird
yes.
laying on the little rail out there. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm,
saying? I want to see the trees blowing
mm-hmm.
because it's going to help my mind to be
Yeah,
relaxed, regardless of what I'm doing throughout that day.
yeah.
And I just want to throw something else in there when we talk about sharing and networking with a trusted network, right? I had a conversation with a young lady. She's a mother of two, and she was saying, I don't mind. She said, my family, my immediate family, which is a husband and kids, she said, that's my family. And I didn't want to jump in and say, you have siblings, you have other people that you're not including as your family. Because she's like confined in that yoke of protection, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I wanted to share with her this story, but I said, nah, it wasn't time, but I will. Because when I was in my 20s, it's my husband and me, and just us, right? But when the marriage failed, the
Mm.
people I ignored, the people I didn't include in my fam, you see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because there are people that can be trusted. Really, there are.
They are.
I had to literally go back and say, hey, I apologize. I must have been out my mind because you know what? That ain't work. And here I am, you know. And people that know me know I'm open, with my past, because it's a lesson for others. And
Mm-hmm.
I learned that about myself, that the more I talk about situations that I have survived triumphantly, it has helped a whole lot of other people.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure if I'm gonna write that book, but I might. Somebody told me just yesterday, girl, you need to write that book. Because when I tell my story, they're like, oh my
I
God.
agree.
Serious. So I just wanted to say sometimes we make our own cocoon that includes the individuals that are going to be the one that we ain't going to be around. So I think we need to conclude. I think we should include in our cocoon those that are trusted, those you can rely on.
Mhm.
And no, you don't have to tell them all your business, but
Right.
you need to have the door open so you can be able to step out that door and step into another door when you have a calamity. Because if the only person you have to talk to is an individual that eventually, is the one that you don't want to talk to, I had to walk that walk.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it harder to go back and say,
It does.
hey, I need some help
It does. It
over.
does. When you're not engaged with your community, like this community, right? Um, it is hard to ask for help because you've read the tech the messages on Facebook community or in any other platform that's being used. You've been seeing the messages and seeing the cries for help, and you didn't respond. But now life has brought it to your doorstep, and you want to ask for help, but because you haven't been a help and you've been in that cocoon, I like how you say that, it's difficult now to reach out, right? Like, dang, man, I ain't been saying nothing. I haven't been engaged. Da, 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 da. So they not gonna help me. Well, you don't know that, but I know where it's coming from because you've been so in your little sphere, right? You've siloed yourself to this, that, or the other, or people. You were spot on with that. We get with our husband and our children or our boo and this is my world. I don't need nobody else. All right, watch yourself on that now. Watch yourself on that now because people leave of their own volition or for other reasons too, right? Life happens. So having an extended family, that circle of women, right? It doesn't have to be 500. It only have to be 10. It could be just 5 or 3, whatever serves you best. But as you have your circle, make sure you're serving so that you serve, you give out so much that when it's time for you to receive, many have received from you and are ready to support you. So supporting each other when we are not going through anything, but particularly when we're going through something, and being very careful too. Don't just jump into a group and say I'm with my girls. Yeah, what kind of girls are you with? Right? What kind of girls are you with? So it's important that we support, we be choicy about our circle of women, even within a network, right? You're gonna fit where you fit, and you're not gonna fit where you don't fit, right? But that doesn't mean you can't still support the same cause. We're all here together, women in networking, right? So since we're here together, if I like Miss Ernest, I'm new to Miss Ernest, but she and I both have Allegra in common, right? I'm gonna say I've been knowing Allegra a little bit longer than you, Miss Ernest, but that's all right. That's all right. But we both have a piece of her, and she has a piece of us, and we have a piece of each other. And we know that we can turn to each other in times of need, if for nothing else but a listening ear or some advice or recommendation. And having that, it's an insurance policy, if you will. I know who I can call when I need some help. But also, you need to know what kind of help you need. Don't call me and say, girl, I don't know what I need. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? You don't know what you need. So how am I going to help you but ask you a whole onslaught of questions to try and figure it out? So serve thyself first. Know what you're doing for yourself first. So then in turn, you can either communicate to someone what it is you need or be of an assistance to somebody else.
Okay, listen, this is really bad, but can y'all hear me?
Yeah, got a little bit of an echo, but we can hear you.
We're going to try and work this out.
Oh, it's good now. You're good. No echo now.
We're good. Okay. All right, good. Nope. There's an echo. I hear it.
Yeah, it came back. Testing one, two,
And you
three.
can't hear me here.
Yeah, we can hear you. Hmm.
Okay. So I want to say this because I was listening and everything you ladies said, I'm just like, wow, because these are some check marks. Like, we do, first of all, we're just human beings, right? So no one person is perfect. So being able to say that, I need to be a support to myself as well as other people means that you're training yourself to look for what to attract. And I think it's amazing because I think we beat ourselves up a lot. Like, I think as women in general, because of what I've experienced myself too, I think we beat ourselves up a lot. I know I do. But it's something that we have to kind of work through, because community for me, and I'll just speak from my standpoint, because community to me means that I always have a space to go into to find what I need. And I can always offer what I need. When you said have your circle but make sure you are serving, that hit me, because I'm like, at one point in time, let's be real, we're all building community. Like, if you have a business without a community, you're probably struggling a little bit, because like, people want to know that you care about them. They want to know, like, do you care about me, or do you just want what I got?
Right.
And we know that being in this place in life, like, I mean, we've seen a lot of things, right? We've experienced a lot of things, like all the years that have that we've gone through. The last 4 or 5 years have been like so detrimental for us, right?
Hmm.
And because we as women are now at the forefront of business, because I'm talking about women entrepreneurs, like,
Hmm.
we're handling businesses and jobs and families.
Hmm.
And I think that we have to, number one, give ourselves grace, because there are going to be times where we're going to do it and fail and do it and fail more, because we have so many more responsibilities.
Yes.
And then also, when you said, Quran, you said, hey, listen, that conversation on Sunday, y'all, it blew my mind. Miss Ernest, you weren't there when we had this conversation, but my mind was blown. I said, what, you mean that we literally can build a whole system for you to get support and you still won't ask for support?
Hmm.
And the reason is because I think we need some mental health. we need
Spot
therapy,
on.
right?
Spot on. Hmm.
I think we create therapy in so many different ways. Like,
We
for
do.
me, I love going to my therapist. Like, I have her on standby. Like, I'll be like, hey, I gotta come back. Like, it's been 6 months. But for another person, that may not work, right? Like, and there's a lot of things attached to this thing. Like, I was reading The Mountain Is You, and when I say that we are embedded with this stuff from birth, it's like, why do we get ashamed? Why do we get embarrassed? Why do we feel judged? Like, we literally carry the world on our shoulders. And so I was just thinking, like, all of the things that we're doing in community are always still good, even when you're failing at it. Because I've done community really bad and I've done community really well, and I've learned from both sides of it. And when you figure out, and I think it's all part of the journey, because when you figure out like who your people are. Before I built community, Karan, you've been with me the longest, right? I think for most of the people in Mr. Ernest, Karan was like, what was that, day in Hager, you can?
Yes. Yes.
A whole
Absolutely.
nother community I was
A
in.
whole nother community. Hmm.
And then I always say this too. Before, as a woman entrepreneur, I think we need those safe spaces, but the safe space and the idea of a safe space, we have to identify what that looks like.
Yeah.
I grew up in Hager You Can Club, right? Shout out to Tara Gahirti. She's a leader of that community. She's still out there growing strong. You can join her networking events on Zoom. And I remember being the girl that I was very bold about my business. Like, I was like, I will show up anywhere, like whatever you need me to say. But being on a new app, being in front of all these people I didn't know, being, new at being a business coach for
Hmm.
only a couple of years, I was
Hmm.
like, okay, I need to know who's going to support me. And it wasn't, the random people I went across. It was the communities I was in. The women that were like, girl, it's okay. It's all right if you stutter. It's okay if you messed up. It's okay if you don't have a pitch. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Hmm.
And I think that sometimes it's necessary to have that, as well as have a helping hand to push at the same time. Because for me, as I was building in community, y'all, I was like, it was so many times where I could get into the wrong community and just relax, because the people that was in that community were like my vibe. Yes, girl, let's chill, let's kick it, right? Because that type of community was for my personal fun, carefree. But then when it came down to my spiritual community, when it came down to my, I had to start looking at those areas. And that's kind of how I look at it. As y'all were speaking, I'm like, are we allowing ourselves to be receiving of things like that?
Mhm,
Are we
mhm.
allowing ourselves to open up and say, hey, girl, I want to be a part of this community. I want to be a part of that community. I want to be a part of what you're doing. And then I also want you to be a part of what I'm doing. And I think that comes from a place where you're so sure about yourself that you won't actually fear judgment or fear being ashamed of saying the wrong things, or feel embarrassed because maybe something didn't work out the way you wanted it to. So I learned those things, and I want to encourage other women too, especially as they're watching this live stream. And as we're running into these months, October, November, December, in our community, we've seen lots of ups and downs. I've seen
Mhm.
people, like, it's like we've seen people, like you said, Miss Ernest, dip out and then come back like with a vengeance, because sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to go and take time for yourself and come back where you get what you need, right? And so I think that it's really important for us in time this time of the world, to start being more intentional
Yeah.
about taking control of the
Mhm.
communities that we can be in and the things that we can do with our businesses. I'm gonna go into the Georgia Gives campaign a little bit, because I think that Miss Ernest, what you allowed me to put together. And I've been scouting some stores and talking to them about it locally, that women owned, women inspired, women empowered, and they're all excited, right? Because they understand that the struggle of a woman is not necessarily based on her ability. It also has a lot to do with the fact that we need more support than anything. So I'm going to go back around the table, because I've said my spiel. I was very encouraged by both of what Miss Ernest and Karan said. Please, if you are listening and watching, I need your comments. I want to know what it is that you're experiencing, even in your own journey as a woman entrepreneur, in community, out of community. What are you looking for? Because as we grow in this new age, we have to learn what community looks like for each of us. Karan, I'm going to go back over to you, and then you can pass the mic back over.
Thank you, Allegra. My closing words on this is to be aware of the community that you're going into, and make sure you're going into it for the right reason. I've seen it many times that people will go into communities because they see what they can get, or they think they can get something from that person or those people. They'll go in and absorb all of that. And like you say, they'll just leave, and not leave because they need a break, but need because they leave because they've gotten everything they wanted to get. Don't be I was going to say another word, but that's not nice. Don't be like that. When you go into these communities, go into them intentionally, that you're going to serve and be served. Because when you serve, you will be served. That's just how it goes. When you serve, you will be served. So when we go into these communities, go into them with the mindset that I'm coming in to serve, and be intentional about it. And be quick to recognize that, oh, wait a minute, maybe this is not for me. And be quick to exit. And you can do that, because ain't nobody paying you to go in these communities, right? So that's what I have to say. Like, this has been an electrifying conversation. I'm so glad I was able to be a part of it.
Miss Ernest.
You hit that a nail on the head. So for me, I want to say this about your community. The first thing is you have to trust the trusted. And we
Mhm.
talked about that today.
Yeah.
Anybody that you decide to network with on a personal business situation, they have to be trusted.
Right.
And how do we know people are trusted? You have to try them.
Hmm.
You have to try people.
Exactly.
And just like Ms. Karan and Ms. Legler said, if they don't pass the test, keep it moving.
Keep it
Trust
moving.
me, keep it moving, because there's a community out there that's right for you.
Yeah.
The second thing, within these communities, we have to always do self care.
Hmm.
I'm big on that now. I used to run like a racehorse. Everything had to be done. But now I'm very focused on my own self care, because if you're not healthy physically and mentally, you're not doing yourself any good. And my third point I want to make is handle your business.
Hmm.
And by that, I mean, when I say handle your business, it's sit down, know where you are going, make a strategic plan if you have to, jot it down on a piece of paper. As I grew up, the elders used to say, when you're trying to make a decision, take a piece of paper. On the front side, you write down positive. On the back side, you write down the negative. And whichever one weighs out, then you know your answer to that particular
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard, people. It's not hard.
At all.
So
At all.
trust it, do your self care within the community, and handle your business so that you can be alive and happy and available to walk the journey that you know that is set before you.
Mm-hmm.
Allegra?
Forgot which one I unpaused. Thank you, Miss Ernest and Karan. This is a beautiful live stream. I want everyone to be able to get as much good energy from this, right? Because the good and the bad that we talk about are all good things. It teaches us things that we need to learn, not just for ourselves, but for other people, even later down the line. So, let us know how you received from this. Also, connect with the ladies in this live stream. Miss Karan and Miss Ernest Cummings has been such great supporters of the WIN. And also, they have some amazing things. And I know that we don't really shout it out all the time, but that's my responsibility. So Miss Ernest, our corporate partner, she mentioned it a little bit, but she wrote a book and she became a number one bestseller on Amazon. And that was in a very effective measure. She, like we talk about the challenges, but community, listen, you got to know when you have a frantic moment and things go wrong, you have to jump into community and say, hey, who's ready to help me? Because the truth is that your community should be rallying up for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's also one of the components. Karan is also a two-time bestseller, Karan?
That is correct.
Okay. Wow. Two-time bestseller. And when I met Karan, we were just in clubhouse rooms together chilling, right? Like we were just like, hey girl, what's up? Karan now has ended her what it was 3 years, and I thought it was incorrect. I told Mr. I was like, I thought it was only like 1 year. Karan said 3 years of
3 years.
running affirmation rooms and feeding people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Them, their children, men and women, and
Yeah.
being able to bring it now to a place of consulting. So congratulations to both of you
Thank you.
queens. Congratulations to myself, because I'm telling y'all, like, I've been through some challenges this year, but I have overcome them. And I'm very, very excited for what we have coming up for the end of this year. We have
Mhm.
some amazing things. The main focus I want to really give you guys is our Georgia Gives campaign. Because as you see us talk about the things that we're doing in women's lives, how we're impacting people, I'm going to show y'all a little bit more about that, because y'all don't see enough of the behind the scenes. I want you to see exactly how these lives are transforming within our community walls. And as you see that, I want you to go ahead and support them, because for next year, we're going to have some amazing things happening. And we're really looking forward to taking some women that may not have everything that they need, or they were at the place where they were successful, or they are at a successful place, but we don't want you to drop out. And so we're going to be selecting women to really take through a program to make sure that you have all the resources. But right now, we are building to that. So if you want that type of resource, and you can go look at it at a Georgia Gives campaign, see what it looks like. Mr. Ernest, I'm going to send it over, because Mr. Ernest is like, you ain't send it over to me yet. I got to edit that first. I want y'all to look at it. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if it's something that you need. All right. And let me know in my DMs. And also, you can email me. All right. Thank you, ladies, so much. We're going to get out of here, and we'll see you next month. Have an amazing day.